Okay, here we go.
Hey guys, here we are. This is Başak.
Hey guys, this is Kate. We are here.
Hey, did you change the music?
I'm not sure. That sounded different, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. I was waiting for the familiar sound, and all of a sudden I'm like, "Ooh, you know what it reminds me? When you are experiencing something unexpected, how you get very alert,
Yes.
because it really breaks the cycle of your conditioning in a way. So that's
Yes.
what I felt like. I was like, "Oop, I woke up."
Yes. Well, that's good because we have a lot to discuss today, so you have to be wide awake, my friend.
That's true. We do have a wonderful guest today, and today's topic, we are going to explore the stages of menopause as a spiritual initiation and a doorway into resilience, creativity, and wisdom. And Kate, would you please announce our wonderful guest today? I'm so
Yes, our wonderful guest, Dr. Angela Lee. Please come on and join us. There she is. Hello.
Could you unmute yourself, Dr. Lee?
Yes. Hi, how are you
Hi.
guys?
Very
Wonderful.
good.
Do we call you Dr. Lee or do we call you Angela?
You could call me Angela.
Oh, I feel so privileged, like a close friend. I'm so excited.
All right, so I'm going to read Angela's bio. So here we go. Dr. Angela Lee is a doctor of traditional Chinese medicine and acupuncture who specializes in women's health. She trained in Taoist philosophy and Chinese medicine with Master Ni and his sons, an esteemed healing lineage dating back to the Han Dynasty. This foundation in ancient wisdom shapes her approach to medicine, human potential, and consciousness. Her practice is devoted to wholeness and agency, integrating traditional Chinese medicine wisdom with somatic experiencing, bioharmonizing practices, longevity science, and somatic approaches to intimacy, relationship, and embodied healing. Dr. Lee brings a deep clinical understanding of how the nervous system holds unintegrated trauma and how this stored energy interacts with hormonal balance, emotional regulation, and overall health across the reproductive continuum. For over 2 decades, Dr. Lee has guided thousands of women through fertility and related hormonal complexities, helping prepare many for the profound initiation of midlife. Her work explores how perimenopause and menopause can become thresholds into deeper wisdom and creativity. Drawing on her clinical mastery and lived experience, she invites women to approach change as medicine, to listen to their bodies as teachers, and to live from greater alignment.
Oh, thank you.
Wow.
Amazing. I know. I love that. I got
Yeah.
chills.
Oh, beautiful. I mean, Kate and I can relate, of course. We are in that stage of our lives. Um, can we ask you, how was your experience of perimenopause slash menopause surprise you or challenge you or reveal new strengths?
Hmm. Yeah. I guess let me start with the challenges. So I first, well, I know that most women probably starting in their late 30s are in the process of perimenopause. But I knew that I was in it when I woke up one morning and I had a frozen shoulder. So I couldn't move my arm, which was such a bummer for me because my strength is my flexibility, and I couldn't do the things that I was used to. And so that's when I knew, and that was probably about 8 years ago. And now, yeah, a lot has evolved since then. I would say what was it? The challenge, the surprise.
Yeah.
The surprise for me is how magical this experience is for me and all the gifts that I've been able to accumulate through this process. And then I would say, as far as was it the power or
The
what was
strength,
the
the new
strength. Yeah,
strength.
the
Yes,
strength.
yes.
So I would say the strength is it's completely strengthened my life across all areas. So health, relational, career, work.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So you said so it was a surprise to you,
Mm.
even though you knew that it was going to come at some point. So
Yeah.
how would you suggest that people try to not be surprised, or do you think the surprise is good?
I think surprises are good. You know, I read, when I was studying Chinese medicine, I was studying women's reproductive health. So I knew about the second spring, which is what the Chinese call this stage
Beautiful.
of life. But it wasn't until I read Christiane Northrup's book, I think I was 25, and it was Women's Body, Women's Wisdom.
Mm,
And that book really opened the field of possibility for me. And I would say at the end of the book, I was excited for that journey. Um, so, so there was a lot already that I knew, but it's really different when you learn something mentally and then you have the experience of it. So I don't think I could have anticipated how profoundly it has changed me and is changing me.
So a lot of women that I know
Mhm.
in my life resist that change, and they think that it is something. Oh my God, it is a new stage of life, but it's not really wanted. Ho- Can you explain how does feminine power shifts in this stage of life, and how can women learn to embrace this shift rather than resist it?
Mm. Um, so I'm going to give you my definition of the patriarchy, and I'm going to kind of go around. But so my definition is valuing masculine traits.
Mm.
So let's just take it out of gender and let's just look at polarity, right? So structure versus chaos.
mhm,
What is the preference for most people?
Comfort,
Structure,
structure.
structure, right?
mhm.
Well, perimenopause, menopause is very chaotic. It's very unknown, right? So structure is masculine, chaos is feminine.
Mhm.
So we have been, I think, programmed to value qualities that are in direct opposition to experiences that we have as women. So I completely love the chaos of this. I love not knowing what's going to happen day to day. And if we're able to track that chaos or walk through or get to the other side of that chaos, there's absolute magic on the other side,
Mm. That's
in my experience.
Yeah,
And a lot of women that I've worked with.
yeah. It's I just read and it just was an article about the brain that I read this morning, talking about how in mice and humans that the decision making thing of like during chaos is stronger. Like we need that chaos in our brains to actually strengthen that decision making process. And that exactly makes me think this is what we're talking about today, right? You become stronger, you become all these different things by going through that chaotic time. So
Yeah.
that's amazing.
Well, I believe chaos is the precursor to creativity,
yeah.
right?
Without chaos, why do you need to be inquisitive? Why do you need to be intuitive? Why do you need to problem solve?
Yeah, yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
So, and can I ask about the background and your studies in the Chinese medicine world? Are there particular I don't know, pr things that you would suggest as a Chinese doctor, Chinese medicine, that a woman would do? Like, are there certain things to herbs to take.
Rituals, practices,
Yes,
traditions,
yes,
right?
yeah,
Definitely,
definitely.
definitely.
Oh, so
And
yeah, what?
right. And I think for this podcast,
Mm.
I'm more interested in the questions than the answers.
I love that.
So it will be very easy for me to tell everyone this is what you should do and do this. And I have to say, it's part of what creates so much confusion for women. So they go on YouTube, they go on the internet. This doctor says, eat 120 grams of protein. This
Mhm.
doctor says you should fast. This one says you shouldn't. And
Yeah.
there's so much conflicting information out there. So who's right?
Mm. Well, it reminds me of, the study of Ayurveda, right, Kate? The most important principle of that is the individual approach. So it is not just the symptom that is shown, but it is the person who is experiencing that symptom with all the complicated
Mhm.
stories and past that they have. So not one person's experience in this stage is same to the other person, right? So
Yeah.
That's right.
how do you work with people when they have different mental capacity or philosophy about life and this stage of life?
Yeah. I mean, I ask their bodies. Their bodies absolutely know. Now, we've been really conditioned to, especially a lot of the women that I see, probably because I was this woman, the good girl. So I had a lot of good girl conditioning. Yeah, yeah. Seems to be the women that I probably all women actually,
Yeah.
uh, most women. And um, so we're conditioned to seek information outside of ourselves. So I might tell a patient that I work with, I'm the expert, you're the authority. So my job is just to help you navigate this dark night of the soul for a lot of women coming to me for reproductive reasons. And a lot of the women that I'm seeing are trying to have a baby and going through perimenopause at the same time. So it's a lot to go through two stages at once.
Yes.
But I'm really listening to her body and also what's resonating, what's not resonating.
Mm.
Um, I guess I could answer the question what I do, right?
Yes.
But I wouldn't necessarily recommend that to everyone because I'm pretty intense about it. But in my bio, it was mentioned that I do a lot of bioharmonizing practices, which is basically biohacking. But bioharmonizing is not necessarily using tracking devices. So circadian rhythm, sleep. I think that's been the biggest difference in my life is that I had a chronic pain for 17 years that I went to every expert, every authority, every person spent, I mean, on so much money trying to fix, myself,
Yeah.
and nothing worked. It short-term relief, and then it would come back, and it was just getting worse as I was getting older. And I remember I was in the on my bathroom floor, one of those like 2 o'clock in the morning situations, like just not wanting to live anymore. I mean, if anyone has lived with chronic pain, I mean, this is a particular, you can reach those
Yes.
levels of pain. And this very quiet voice, but I heard it, said, stop fixing.
Mm.
That was it. It was just that. And I was like, what do you mean, stop fixing?
Wow.
I didn't know how to not do that.
Mm.
And so I started it was that moment, there was like oh, there's something there that I need to go deeper with and practice. And it was not easy. It was incredibly difficult. But I started getting curious, and it took me a few years. And at the end of that whole, I guess at this point it was 17, 18 years, I didn't have pain anymore.
Wow.
And I think a big part of it was that my body felt like an enemy.
Mm.
I was at war with my body, like many women are, right? Doesn't have
Mhm.
to be a chronic pain, but it can be she's getting old
Mhm.
or she's not thin enough or whatever the story is. So that was the beginning process of me healing that war inside of myself
Yeah.
and mm, not in a situation where I was um, seeing my body as a threat.
Mm.
And so when these symptoms arise with perimenopause, I welcome it, I just don't resist it anymore. And so it's not like I have zero communication from my body. Like I know that I'm going through this. It's just without the resistance,
Mhm.
it frees up a lot of energy for me to create in life.
Mm.
Wow.
It,
That's
it almost feels like a channeling the creative energy in a way, right? That creative energy that's always there and just expressing it now differently.
That's right. That's right. Because it was all, I don't know, blocked up. I always think everything we want is here right now. It's all
Mhm.
here.
Mhm.
The question is what's in the way?
Yeah.
How do we tap into that? How do we
But
raise our vibration?
what's in the way of it, right? Because we build, we accumulate. And I think, by the time you're 40 and you're going through this process,
Yeah.
or 30 or 50, there's a lot accumulated.
Yeah. So, um, the listening to that voice, that little inner voice, it's very hard to try to communicate that to someone, you know. And I just know clients that I work with that I talk about intuition and I talk about those type of things, and some get it immediately, and some I think don't. And sometimes I try to work from the body outside in, would you say that's the way to try to tap into understanding? And I know again it's different for everybody. I do want answers, don't I? But like just to uh like if people aren't hearing that, what did they have to go through huge pain to get it, or what?
A lot of people do, but not everyone. I have met people that haven't
Mhm.
had to go through a lot of pain, but a lot of us have had to.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I guess I would go deeper and there's probably a part of them that doesn't feel safe to have what it is they think they want, right? So it's a somatic issue.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And and if they don't, then they might block that intuition. They're not going to trust it.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, that's very interesting because for myself, my transition in this stage was quite smooth because I feel because I expected it and welcomed it. But then my sister is now at the perimenopause stage, starting to that stage, and she has a lot of fear around it, and she's already like, what should I do? Should I get hormone therapy? Should I, like in that search, which it never even occurred to me when I was processing it. So yeah, this shift, I guess, to your point, not just biological then, right? It's also mental and spiritual, isn't it?
Definitely. I think it could be whatever you want it to be.
Yeah.
It can just be physiological, biological. It could be spiritual, right? I think that's one of the issues with the story about menopause that's pervasive in our culture
Mm.
is it lacks imagination. It's basically like it's the end.
Yes, absolutely. It's the
Yeah,
end of your womanhood. You're no
that's it.
longer a woman. You're suddenly invisible and you're dry and and that's it. And it's horrible. It's a horrible story.
It is. But
Yeah.
how many of us have bought into it?
Mm.
Then if we buy into it, then it's going to be a horrible experience or basic, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not horrible. Maybe it's just like, yeah, but but it could be so much more.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's a choice that we get to make when we realize that we are creators.
Yeah.
So listening to you though, just, you know, reminds me the importance of community in this. Who you are surrounding yourself with, who are your support whatever, friendships, you know, the woman around you, that tells you that it's okay. That's a part of life, and that's, you know, this is what you are looking forward to rather than what you are lacking of. Can you talk a little bit into that from your perspective?
Yeah, I guess it depends on your community, right?
Yes.
There's a lot of community that's it's really down on menopause.
Yeah.
So I had to make choices around that. I learned that actually with my menstrual cycles because I loved that process, right? And I think it makes it a little easier to say goodbye because I really enjoyed that process every month, you know. And there are a lot of women who are like their menstrual cycle is the worst thing.
Yeah.
For others, for me, it was an opportunity to rest, to slow down, to take a break, you know, to connect me to the cycle of life, to, yeah, all of the, so again, I wanted to have a more beautiful experience around my body, my femininity.
Yes.
And also I'm working with women every day with their hormones. So I didn't want to be a hater, you know. I wanted to bring some positive energy. I wanted to appreciate that in my own life, even if they didn't know what my experience was. I know I'm bringing energy to people.
It's
Yeah.
interesting. You know, for me, my experience with periods were really difficult. It was my periods were very heavy, very long, and you know, I couldn't wait to get rid of them because
Mm.
from an early age I was into sports, I was into dance, all of this stuff, and here I am wanting to do all this stuff, and I can't because those periods of times are really difficult for me. So, but it also feels like these two passages that this dramatic changes almost for women that women get to experience. It's almost like introducing of this like surge of feminine power and then, you know, balancing that with masculine. How men don't go through that, or do they?
Do they go through, well, they have their cycles are daily versus our cycles, which are monthly. So
Right.
do have a cycle. It's just not as dramatic. They're more of the structure. We're more of the chaos. So what I can say is that having a really connected relationship with my husband, he does provide a lot of containment for me as I go through this process.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I love what you were talking about a little bit earlier is this idea of slowing down,
Mm.
which is something we can do in our life in all areas, right? Or just generally, because there's a sense of feeling like if you the faster you move, the more you get done. But I actually feel like the opposite is this when you slow down, I find you actually get more done. Or maybe it's just you're focusing, clearly on something versus this frenetic energy. So just introducing more, did you find that you've done that more and more in your life? Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I would say sleep is my most important aspect of my life. So I designed my entire life around sleep. I also started doing something, I think 5 or 6 years ago, called wintering. So in the winter, I mean, like hardcore. So I'm in bed early, like 6:30 in the winters, like I'm in bed by 8 o'clock. Summers are 7:30 in bed. uh, probably asleep by 8:30. But just slowing down, saying no to things,
Yes.
right? Because I walk through the park every single day. And in the winters, I would note it. I mean, I think, oh, all the leaves died, everything died. It kind of feels like that. And then I realized, like, oh no, it's just retreating. It's retreating to then create. And so for 9 months, will, I won't say go hard or maniac mode, but let's just say that I do these kinds of things. I travel, and then this in the when I winter for 3 months, I hibernate.
Wow.
It's been so incredible.
I mean, you are literally like, what a respect for your body and your mind as you go through a transition to allow that space, right? And, just allow yourself to heal and release and let go of the stories, and just be present with your body and give the body what it needs. How beautiful is that? Most of us, I think, don't give ourselves that permission. We are trying to hold on to what it was. Wow.
Yeah. No, it's life-changing. It's life-changing. It's shifted my spirituality because I was a seeker since my probably actually since I was like 8 or 9 years old, because my brother had joined an ashram and I was so enamored, and that's when I first started learning to meditate. But I didn't develop my real practice until my early 20s when I did a 10-day silent meditation retreat. So and I had sort of like a mini self-realization in that process. And then it was like, oh, I want to awaken in this lifetime. It like really planted the seed. And so I've been that spiritual seeker my entire adult life. And wow, I think this process of perimenopause has showed me like, oh, it's in there. I don't have to seek anything anymore. And I did a darkness retreat. Do you guys know what that is?
Oh,
No, please do tell.
Well, it's basically you're in a dark kind of hobbit house that's a little bit underground. So there's absolutely no light. And so I lived in it by myself because you're not in there. I think Montauk Chia does it in groups in Thailand, but I did it alone. I didn't want to do the group thing. And you're just in the dark for I was there 5 nights. And it was so unbelievable because it feels a little bit like death. I remember talking to Scott, who owns Sky Cave, I think, retreats. And I was like, is this like birth? And then you like have a baby? Like, what is it? He's like, no, it's like death. And I was like, oh, cool. Uh, so I was really reborn from that experience. And it fundamentally shifted something in my nervous system that realized like relaxation and rest was really the portal for realization for me.
yeah.
Wow. It makes me think, I mean, of when people go into solitary confinement in prison.
Mm. Yeah, exactly. I actually read those books
Yeah.
and seeing, but there's still light that gets in those prisons.
Yes.
So on the bottom, like
Yes.
they
So,
they don't actually get it. They can't get that DMT release that you can get in the dark. And believe me, it was not dark. I would see things in my brain and I would go like this, and I'm like, oh no, it's dark.
and how big was the
It's almost like that, dream state, like coming into that kind of lowering the brain waves into those theta states too.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, it was unbelievable. Probably the first 2 days, I just slept the whole time.
and is it a room that you can move around in? Is it? Yeah.
Yeah, probably like 500 or 600 square feet. I wish it was smaller because it was just like big enough that I would like bang into things a little bit.
Yeah.
But it was great. It was great. You have a bathtub, you have a bed, you have a toilet, and then they bring you food once a day.
They bring you food. Wow. And then did you meditate most of the time or? Yeah.
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 It will be easy after a while.
Oh my God, I didn't want to leave.
Yeah.
I think about it all the time.
Have you ever
But
done the, sorry, go
I
ahead.
had, no, I was just going to say I had a lot of issues with being lazy. Like it felt bad, I had to be productive. And now it's not difficult for me to be lazy. Not at all.
I was going to ask you, have you ever done the, what is the tanks that you float in? Yes. See, I have a little bit of, I'm afraid of not the dark, but of enclosed spaces. So, but I like the dark. So,
Mm.
but you've
But it's
done that.
enclosed.
Yes, it is enclosed. Yeah. Yeah. Amazing.
I mean, we can go on, you guys. This is also exciting, but we are coming close to our end of our.
No,
I know there's so much.
we haven't even done half the questions.
We haven't. I know,
The
but
questions for which we will have no answers from
right,
Dr.
that's true. That's why we're not asking anymore. But as a conclusion, for semi-conclusion, whatever you might want to call it, but as we close this one chapter, hopefully we will see you back again. Do you can you offer a message to women? You already said so much, but if you can just do one message approaching the stage, what would that be?
I guess I just want to invite women to create the experience that they want, that they have that power. And what I've decided is that this journey initiated me into creating the most beautiful world that I could create for myself, and that you don't need to go through perimenopause to do it. It's just the hormones, the transformation, the alchemical change that happens can be supported. So, the magic I experience, it's not because of perimenopause.
Yeah.
Perimenopause supports the magic that I'm creating. And so I guess if your listeners could, I don't know, if one person kind of hears this and has a different experience and doesn't go along with what we have been conditioned to believe, and she creates a new experience for herself, I know my choice in doing this has really impacted a lot of women around me. So,
Of course, yes. Thank you so much. I
Yes.
feel that this was important to discuss and, bring this completely new perspective. I think for so many women,
Yes.
really rethink and revision their life and their journey in life. Thank you so much for being here. And we are so excited that we get to put this information, this magic out there.
It is profound. It really is, Angela, really profound, deeply.
thank
So
you so much
thank you.
for
Thank
what you guys do. And I'm really so grateful to be part of what you're up to.
Thank
thank
you.
you so much.
Sure.
You want to
Oh,
say
I
goodbye
do it
with
now.
our
If I
music?
can do
I don't
some
know
music.
which music you are going to find this
Who
time.
knows, ladies? We're
No,
going to
let's
have
go
some
with it.
music and say thank you. Yes, it's
Thanks for
the
listening, everyone.
thank you so much and see you next time.